Dr. Joss Reimer is head of the province's vaccine implementation task force. Joins us now from Winnipeg. Let's see if I can keep talking. Dr. Reimer, good to see you. Give me a sense of why the recommendation that those who got AstraZeneca, it's not just that they have the option, but a recommendation that they get mRNA for their second in Manitoba.
When we look at all of the vaccines that we have available in Canada, we've seen that they have played a fundamental role in getting us out of this pandemic, and we believe all of them are safe and effective. But we have seen that there's a low risk with AstraZeneca of seeing people with those blood clots and the low platelets. Now, I do recognize that it's a very low risk. It doesn't happen very often, but we have an even lower risk option available. So we wanted to recommend for Manitobans that they get the lowest risk vaccine possible to protect them against COVID.
And just so I'm clear, because I look at some of the clinical data that's come out from the limited number of studies that there have been out there in the world, that have actually suggested in some cases those who got AstraZeneca for the first and then go and get an mRNA for the second, that there actually can be a difference in efficacy. Is that something that you have been considering?
Well, we looked at a number of different things when we made the decision. So the most talked about is the CombiVac study out of Spain. What they looked at is how much of an immune response did people get if they received a Pfizer dose 8 to 12 weeks after an AstraZeneca dose. And they saw a very strong immune response for people who got that mixture of vaccines. So that was very reassuring, but it's a small study, and it really was just something that built on what we already know from many other vaccine types, along with what we saw in some of the animal models, showing that when you mix the vaccines, you get either the same or sometimes even a better immune response by mixing them compared to sticking with the same dose or the same product for both doses. So we did feel very reassured to see that the first study we have in humans showed a similar result to what we've seen both with other viruses as well as with the animal models.
Should people be concerned, Dr. Reimer, just because we are still early days when it comes to vaccines, and the issues of blood clots with AstraZeneca really didn't present themselves until things got underway. So, with the fact that you're relying on a limited number of studies, should people who are going to end up doing this, mixing vaccines, should they be, what would you say to reassure any concerns they might have about just how much we know right now?
Well, we've given over 1.5 billion doses of COVID vaccines around the world, and we haven't seen the side effects of the blood clots occurring with the mRNA vaccines. So that's been a really reassuring aspect for us, that really no safety signals have popped up anywhere in the world, whether it's blood clots or fertility issues or pregnancy-related concerns. Across the board, they've been shown to be safe with no increased risk compared to any other vaccine. And so we're relying on what we've seen there to recommend that people get a second dose after the AstraZeneca. We also recognize that the immune response is very similar between the two different vaccines. So we expect that the boost potential from the mRNA will be very good compared to getting the same dose of AstraZeneca again for dose 2.
And so I know it's, you're speaking specifically to Manitoba, and it's going to be different in different provinces, but let's say for a moment that people are given this option, and it looks like they will be given this option in all other provinces. Are you concerned about just how much AstraZeneca you're going to have left over, or the delays of people waiting to get an mRNA?
Well, I would say that we've had a very small proportion of all of our doses were AstraZeneca. So even if we're not using the doses we have available, it's a pretty tiny part of what we still need in order to reach herd immunity in our population. So when we looked through the numbers, not using doses in Manitoba had a really negligible impact on how quickly we could reach all Manitobans with a vaccine. So that's one of the factors that also helped us make this decision, was just seeing that our supply of AstraZeneca was so small compared to what we had for Moderna and Pfizer. And as far as, am I worried about how people might respond? I think that's always our top worry, is trying our very best to communicate in a way that helps people feel confident and doesn't instill any fear in the rollout plans. And that's something, that really does keep us up at night, to make sure that people understand why we're making the decisions that we are, and that they feel confident that what we're offering them is the best option for them based on the knowledge that we have right now.
I know you're delivering vaccines, you're not buying them, but is there still a reason for the federal government to keep buying AstraZeneca?
Well, there's going to be some people who can't receive mRNA for a variety of reasons. The most common being perhaps they have an allergy to one of the ingredients in the vaccine. We also expect there's going to be some people who are going to refuse to mix their vaccines. So we do think there's still going to be a role for AstraZeneca to meet the needs of people who couldn't otherwise get that first or second dose. So we're not anticipating getting rid of it completely. We do want to keep that on hand, even though our main focus is going to be on the mRNA vaccines for now.
Okay. Dr. Joss Reimer, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.